Hey guys, I'm Bart.
I'm Gio.
I'm Joe.
I'm Shannon and you're watching
AskTheFeels.
And today we have a question from Jade.
Like the
Hi, I'm 14 and I really don't like my body. I feel fat and I feel ugly and I feel overweight, although I'm not. But I really just want to work out and try and get healthier and possibly lose weight. But my mum has always told me to love my body for what it is, and I don't know how to bring this up with her. I usually have a great relationship with her, but now this is one of the only things I can't really talk to her about. How do you recommend bringing this up with her? Thank you.
I can kind of relate a little bit, but it's a little bit opposite. So before, when I was in early college, I just wanted to get like really big. So I would train and I would start eating a lot, and I started putting on more and more size, and then that was something my grandparents didn't understand. My parents were cool with it, but every time I saw my grandparents, like regardless if you get buffer or fatter, they think it's the same thing because they don't know. So they just go, "Why are you getting so fat?"
So they think buff is fat?
Yeah, and I'm like,
what?
I'm like, no. He's like, you're starting to look like your uncle, and my uncle is like 0% muscle. And I'm like, no, we're not the same. He goes, all you're trying to do is you're trying to get fat every year. Every time I see you, you're just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Why? And then so I realized I'm gonna have a hard time explaining like bodybuilding and
Rip your shirt off and then just be like, suck on these pecs, grandma.
That's what my grandma's gonna say. You're so fucking fat. And then look at all those fat parts on your stomach. It's all fat.
6 pieces of fat.
Neatly organized in compartments.
So I think what I found out was the only way for me to break it down and help my grandparents understand, I just told them, well, I actually like the sport of lifting. So I just enjoy like working out, and it's not for a visual goal. It's more for like an activity that I like, and it stimulates me. And then when I broke it down like that, then she was like, oh, okay, it's kind of like you like riding a bike, and then when you ride your bike a lot, you just so happen to get like big legs or whatever. And I was like, yes. And then so my grandparents said, oh, okay, cool, I understand that. So I think that might be a way that you might be able to introduce it to your parents, where you're like, hey, I just want to work out, I enjoy working out, and focus on the physical activity and that hobby more so as achieving the physical activity as the goal instead of the visual as the goal.
So they thought that you wanted to get fat?
Yeah.
It's just some kind of weird
You know, that makes sense
self-deprecation.
because my uncle was telling me that I was laughing about my belly and stuff, right? And he was like, you know, that was actually body goals back in the day, because men that were a little bit thicker and had a pot belly in their 40s, they were considered like more masculine, rich, and also more like, it was a status symbol to have a pot belly at 40 something. And I'm like, damn, that's so weird, because now everyone wants to be fit. Like, everyone wants to stay young, and he's like, yeah, but to them it was like you're a skinny boy.
A lot of like Asian paintings of old generals, they purposely put like this
Huge pot belly, huh?
he's a warrior.
Fat warriors.
You be eating good.
Yeah.
You got that money.
Yeah.
Steak dinners. I think like for this question too, you have to get cool with yourself. At the end of the day, like, be in the process. I think Bart's advice was super dope. Like, whether or not it's because you want to explain it to your mom, but just for you. Don't make working out about like, my body has to look a certain way. Find an activity that you enjoy doing and that you can bond with other people and start to really like build some esteem in yourself, and know that you're in the process of getting the right body.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, for such a young girl, like, you have to accept, like, you're gonna put on weight during puberty in weird ways. You're gonna be, because it sounds like you probably aren't, you know, in your 20s yet. Like, your body's just coming into its own. You have to be flexible, give it space, and so don't be so obsessed with my body has to look a certain way. It's not gonna happen for a while.
And it's you're gonna look back when you're like 30 something and wish you had that body that you have right now. Or you're gonna look back and be like, damn, my skin was way better. So no matter what age you are, if you're not happy with yourself, you're always gonna think the grass is greener. Like, it's always gonna be better if you had this or if you had that. So you gotta find a way to accept yourself, and then everything else will follow. And like Bart said, find an activity that you enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went through exactly what you went through. Growing up, I always felt like I was like either too skinny, or I was like really like, I was like fatter, and I was like bigger boned than other girls, and I always just felt like super self-conscious about the way I looked growing up. So then I started researching like, oh, okay, well, what can I do to like, you know, fix this about myself, or what can I do to be leaner, or what can I do, you know, to change whatever I want to change. And then I started, you know, getting more into exercising, and I'm like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool. I would see the before and after of people that were doing the same exercises that I was starting to implement, and I'm like, oh, that's really neat, I can actually change it. And then then that was my introduction into sports. So then I started playing sports and I totally forgot about how it's gonna change my body. I just got really invested in that sport. I really liked it. And then I started noticing like, oh shit, like my legs started looking really good. Oh snaps, my butt looks really good. And then I actually started appreciating my body in a completely different way, because then I started noticing that I was sculpting it in a way that I didn't even know was possible. So then that kind of opened up a new window where I was like, whoa, wait a minute, actually I like the fact that I have bigger legs and other girls want smaller legs, because I earned these legs and now I could jump faster, I can run faster, you know? Like it gives you like this different type of mentality that now you're capable of doing other things opposed to just looking cute or looking pretty. So that's what I would kind of recommend for you.
All the people that I know that get into fitness for looks and aesthetic reasons, they're never satisfied and they're never happy. And you'll never find peace within yourself if you start working out to have skinnier arms or like a better waistline or whatever, because it's never gonna be enough. Once you achieve that, it's gonna be like, oh, now I want even smaller of a waistline, now I want even bigger biceps. You're always gonna be chasing happiness tying happiness to a goal, instead of like enjoying being in the zone with a sport or an activity. So just look for different activities that you enjoy doing, and then before you know it,
Wagwan, baby love. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode of Ask the Feels. And if you did, don't just like sit here and tell me because I can't really hear you. Click the like button below. And speaking of below, leave your comments if you like the advice or if you have some better advice to give. And in the description box, you can find all the information about the wonderful world of Shan Booty and my Sextastic channel if you want to follow me. And if you're gonna follow these fingers right over here where the next video is playing right now.
Prior to sex, that's what I would recommend.
cramps.
If she's talking about vaginal cramps, I've gotten those before after sex, like because if the cervix is getting hit especially, it can cause or induce cramps.
Like period type cramps?
Yeah, I've gotten that after sex, not really during, but that's interesting. If you're getting inner cramps, then that is something that you kind of just have to, like any other cramp, just let it go away. It's short term and chill it out.
Wow. Can you get cramps from like the penis being too big?
Yeah, you gotta change the position. So if you're not warmed up again, you're getting a lot of cervical pounding, then that might, happen to as a side effect. It doesn't happen all the time to me, like you. Or again, you could have vaginismus, which comes with a song apparently.
We wish you a vaginismus.
We wish you a vaginismus.
And you might